new tattoo recently. I asked the tattooist what's popular, and he suggested that a single Chinese or Japanese character with a lot of personal meaning. So I got Mr. Miyagi from The Karate Kid.
I wanted to buy a Liam Neeson DVD, but all the good ones were taken.
You spend a lot of time in the bathroom, and as such, I keep a book in there on the Velvet Underground for those times when I need a little Lou Reed.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the third edition of Punchline Online, which is the comedy show for puns and one-liners and wordplay experts. We've got another wonderful cast lined up for you tonight. It's going to be a great evening. This is where we celebrate the great art of writing and delivering brilliant one-line gags. We don't need any of this observational stuff. You know, can't get a boyfriend, can't get a girlfriend. I've just bought a flat and it cost me £300,000 and I got a shelf in a room. We don't need any of that nonsense. We've got real, wonderful jokesters tonight, as always. So let's first of all have a round of applause from our wonderful co-host Kyle Davis, who produces the magic on this show. Let's give it up for Kyle. Hey, fantastic. And we have really a wonderful night ahead of you. I just want to tell you though, had a bit of a problem last week. I went to see the doctor, and well, the thing is, I'm completely addicted to mints. I don't know why. And the doctor told me, well, you've got a menthol health problem. But the thing is, it's okay because it's 20.36. So I can tell it because it's after 8. But one of the things is, because of that joke, I was awarded a slot on Live at the Apollo. And for those of you who like to shop at Waitrose, not me, it's a bit like Bendix, like Beckham. So we'll leave the mint jokes to one side. And we have got a wonderful lineup, as I keep saying. We've also got the winner of the Joke of the Month award for March. That will be coming after the third act. And so, shall we open, ladies and gentlemen, with our first act? Are you ready?
Yes.
Great. Wonderful. One and only. And she's just arrived from Hawaii, the brilliant Corky Gardner.
Hey. Hey, guys. Can you see me? You can hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Sorry, guys. In Hawaii, we were a little confused, and I thought I had another hour to go. I'm so sorry. But hey, what do you expect from a flake? So here's my jokes. Here we go. Most of the guys I've been dating have been alcoholics, and they've been keeping me anonymous. It's not true. Yes, it is. Yes, no, it's not. I finally got the answer to my prayers. The answer was no. But right, you still got to ask, right? I mean, you don't get all these things. My friend told me she was going through a marriage. No, she said she was going through a divorce. I said, it could be worse. You could be going through a marriage. Hey-o. We fixed your dog. The problem was he was a dog. We turned him into a human. Let's see. My last relationship was a roller coaster. And by that, I mean, I was trying to get off the whole time. No bueno. Oh boy. I think the fastest way to a man's heart is through his chest. It's just a more direct approach, you know. I'm like, I went to a restaurant last week. They're like, carry out. I said, no, thanks. I can walk. You guys are way too helpful. And the lady at the grocery store, she's like, want a spoon? I said, just the yogurt, thanks. What is wrong with you people? Making me blush. I'm a day trader. I've been trading my days for nights. So far, it's going pretty well. I was having sex with my boyfriend. He's like, Corky, what about the neighbors? I'm like, you're right. I'll go get them. I'll be selfish. Always me. I read that 90% of U.S. currency contains trace amounts of cocaine. Wow. Come on, people. We could do better. I read that one joint is equivalent to 100 cigarettes. Wow, what a bargain. In Hawaii, they were going to change the legal age of smoking to 100. Finally, something to look forward to. Okay. Someone gave me a coffee mug. It says, do the thing you think you cannot do. So I took the coffee mug and I threw it away. Thank you, Roosevelt. That feels much better. I tried to call Maui Medical Center. I got Maui Medieval Society, and now I have a 6 o'clock bleeding. You can't cancel those appointments. It's like $50. I'm like, fucked. Recently got released from an auto correctional facility. I got out early for good beehives. You guys are smart. You guys are a smart crowd here. My friend was like, Corky, do you know shorthand? I'm like, yeah, I went to college with him. Good buddies. What are you talking about? He's a good guy. Someone's like, Corky, you live in Maui, right? Is that safe? What's the murder rate? I was like, about $200. $100. Okay. That's just what I hear. My boyfriend's like, he wanted me to spice things up, so I maced him. He wanted a little space, so I locked him in the trunk. He said he wanted me to make his life complete, so I shot him. Oh my God. There you go, your life's complete. Anyhow, this thing recorded. Oh my God. Anyhow, I'm single. That one never works. I turned my plane on airplane mode and it crashed. I turned off my location and I disappeared. You see how cool that is? Then it popped up. Do you want to continue as Quirky? I'm like, what are my other options? Telling me this now? Alexa, stop. I'm like, this is a really good phone. Then I went to the doctor. The doctor's like, what's wrong, Corky? You got a long life ahead of you. I said, I know, that's what I was worried about. Anything you can help me? Give me some cigarettes. Let's see, what else we got here? You guys fly on planes? Anybody fly on planes?
Yeah, of course.
In the good old days.
The old days, yes. They say weird things right on the plane. They're like, will wheelchair-bound passengers please remain seated? What are you saying here, guys? Like, supposed to drag them by their elbows. Help me! Maybe on United. I saw a missing cat poster, and the picture of the cat was missing. It's gonna have to be quite the mystery. Try telling a watermelon that there's a drought. He's like, are you crazy? I'm a watermelon. Whenever I go, do you guys ever go into traffic and completely forget what you're doing? You do that? Me neither. You have a deep, dark secret that you can't tell anybody? Me neither. I get really uncomfortable when my neighbors have sex. I'm like cramped to the wall with my ear to the door. It's really uncomfortable. I think sex is like drugs. You spend all night looking for it, 10 seconds doing it, and the rest of the morning talking to cops. What's up with that? I'm out of budget. Oh my gosh. No, that's I think whales are pretty much cool because they're big. What if they were small? You know, having a little whale in your fish tank, do a little flip. Whee! That's the world I want.
Hey, how are you? How are you all?
Hey.
Yeah, where am I? Where am I? I'm here. You can see me? Yeah,
Yes.
Hi everyone. Hi. Hi, yeah. So, first of all, I just want to warn you, I don't know English. So probably I will not understand what I'm talking about. So I want to start with that I'm vaccinated, people. I've got vaccinated.
Hey.
Yay! For the corona, yay! Yeah, believe it or not, there are no side effects. Okay, this face is not a side effect. I was born like that. Okay? With the earphone and the beard and all. Yeah. I was in a workshop lately for self-awareness. I discovered that I'm sexy. Yeah. Anyone who loves snow is an asshole. Yeah. I didn't sleep so well last night because of my dog. She was barking all night. She's very upset on me after I caught her watching Pornhub. Yeah. I was in a restaurant today, and we had a waitress. She had so many piercings over her face. I didn't call her. I put a magnet. Yeah. I bought a car lately. Yeah, thank you. I bought a car lately. I don't drive it because I bought the car new. So I have no money left for gas. Now, you know what people say about someone that have a big car? Someone that has a big car? It's a cover for small fingers, small, Anyway, I bought a bus. Yeah, 2-floor bus, 2-floor. But it was for a friend. Okay, it was for a friend. For myself, I bought a mini minor. Yeah. Not a lot of my friends know it. I do stand-up comedy for the money. And I am unemployed for my soul. I was in a job interview last week, and the manager he asked me, where do you see yourself in 5 years? I told him, in the future.
Brilliant.
He noticed that I'm a little, so we continued the interview. Do you have experience as a manager? Yeah, I managed 2 groups on WhatsApp. I didn't get the job. I don't know why. Yeah. I know that you will be surprised, but for all my life I wasn't so good with girls. Yeah. My last girlfriend, she dumped me. She told me, it's not you. We had the same voice. She told me, it's not you. It's me. And I thought to myself, wow. I'm so lucky that I'm not her. She told me that we are too similar. And then I realized that it wasn't a good idea to eat on with my cousin. Yeah, not good idea. Yeah. A good friend of mine told me that if I see two women together, I should hit on with the ugly one, and then the pretty one will be jealous. So I hit on with the ugly one. She didn't want me either. Yeah, but her lost, yeah. But anyway, I've got married, people.
Woo!
Yeah, Corona wedding. The government told us that we can invite 20 people to the wedding, and I think it's not fair. It's not fair. Where can I get another 8 people? What, are you kidding me? So anyway, I've got married because I wanted to have sex, but the problem is my wife doesn't want sex because we got married. Yeah. I discovered that a lot of people after they get married, they don't have sex, and they try to figure out why this happened. And I found out that people don't have sex after they get married, because after they get married, they become family. Who's doing sex with his family? What, are you crazy? Yeah. So I'm 41 years old, and until the corona began, I still lived with my parents. Yeah, I mean, what was I supposed to do? They didn't want to leave. I told them, come on, you are living here for 42 years. Go find yourself another place. But they no, this is our house. We bought this house. Yeah, with the money that's supposed to be mine. Sure. Yeah. You know, I discovered that when old men try to type in, he looks like a rapper. Yeah. I discovered something that Alexander Graham Bell, this man invented the phone. And I think, I say your last name is Bell. Why didn't you invent the bell? What, you want to make us crazy? This is your last name, man. And who invented the bell? Alexander Graham telephone? Alexander Graham iPhone? Bill Gates? And besides, you know, Alexander is a Russian name. Graham is a British name. Bell is a princess name. Who the hell are you, man? What are you, a secret agent? This is why you invented the phone? Yeah, I've got them. Yeah. And last joke, I mean, it's not a joke, it's my life. You know, a lot of people hear that I'm a comedian and they have the same question. They ask me, tell me something. Doesn't it make you nervous if people don't laugh? So I said, yeah, in the beginning, it really made me nervous when people didn't laugh, but I've got used to it. Thank you very much, Mr. Rosenberg. Mr. Rosenberg, yeah. I'm on Facebook or in the street because I have no life. And welcome, Mark. Yeah.
Brilliant. Oh, great stuff. What a great set. Let's have it up for Gil Rosenberg. What a great set. Absolutely brilliant. I tell you, you just don't know how difficult it is to do a set like that, not in your mother tongue. It's absolutely brilliant. So let's have a round of applause again for Gil Rosenberg. Absolutely brilliant. Really enjoyed that, Gil, and I hope you'll come back for more sets with us in the future. Great stuff.
Yes.
So now, has anybody got any good suggestions for some ironing jokes? Any ideas?
I thought about it, but then I just got bored.
I folded.
I get a bit steamy.
I tried to think of one, but I was, so pressed for time. And honestly, I'm a bit steamed about it, to be honest. So.
Mine aren't very good. Mine aren't very good either. They're a bit starchy.
Shelve that one for a bit.
I don't know. I'm going to tell my sister's polyester about this.
Yeah. It's going to take it to the cleaners, isn't it?
It's absolutely. That's a bit dry. Actually, I mean, the people who don't know London, excuse me for this, but I wrote all my ironing jokes when I lived near Hanger Lane. Okay, great stuff. Well, we've had two great sets. We've had a bombing. What more? I'll tell you what, it reminded me a lot of the gigs I've done on the circuit, that bombing. There's been quite a few times that I've said I was born in Leeds and I've died on this fucking stage. But that's how it goes on the circuit. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for our absolutely brilliant third act of the evening? It's the one and only Jimmy Longmuir, all the way from Glasgow, Scotland.
Cool. Thanks very much, Mark. Well, I didn't iron it, but I did wear the jacket in my two-piece because we're coming out of lockdown. Does it suit me? But one thing I was thinking, I've not actually worn this for 6 months. One thing I was thinking when I put it on is, do you think anybody has one of these jackets in their cupboard anywhere in the world that doesn't have one of these in the pocket? I should have probably used one with longer sleeves because I've actually been walking about with my jokes written in my hand all day. So if you happen to see me in the supermarket, I'm sorry for the spoilers, but if you could read the jokes, you were standing too close. The supermarket's a bit of an ordeal for me these days anyway. I like to drink my coffee with the powdered milk substitute coffee mate. And I go into the shop and I'm like, can you tell me where the coffee mate is? And he's like, there's a coffee there, mate. And I'm like, no, the coffee mate. And he's like, I just told you where the coffee was. And why did you call me mate twice? And I'm like, no, the milk stuff. And he's like, the milk's around the corner next to the eggs. And I'm like, the powder. And he's like, there's a sugar next to the coffee. And try having one of those conversations when you're both wearing these. So I just drink my coffee black now. See, I get told by professionals that you shouldn't make any jokes about COVID once we all get out of lockdown. But it's been a global pandemic that we've all been through, not fucking Fight Club. I've never played by the rules. Ironically, that's what got me kicked out of Fight Club. But he's probably just this lockdown fucking with my head. It was okay back in the start last March. Last March, I was keeping myself pretty active, going on long walks around my neighbourhood and things. In fact, one day I went pretty far and found myself somewhere that was technically very crowded, but everyone stayed at least 6 feet away, so that was good. But all the same, I never went back to that graveyard. And I managed to keep myself safe, well and busy back at the start of lockdown. Mainly, I kept myself busy by assuring everyone I know in different apps that I was safe and well. By 3 months in, if anyone texted to ask how I was doing, I felt like texting back, I'm doing the same as you. I'm pretending everything's fine. Now, fuck off. And I actually served a short 6-week prison sentence 20 years ago, and I've never been able to describe prison until now. Now I can tell anyone that asks that prison was almost exactly like this lockdown, except I didn't have to put up with your partner and kids. And I knew when it was going to be over. And I actually get sick of wanking in lockdown. I didn't even know you could get sick of wanking. Like every time I went to do it, I knew how the Queen must feel about Prince Andrew. It was my flesh and blood, but I just didn't want to look at it anymore. And I blame 5G for that. I think the conspiracy theorists are right about 5G. And I thought 5G was going to be a good thing for shut-in porn addicts. I mean, even monkeys in captivity enjoy a little wank from time to time. I know that for a fact because that was an awkward family outing. Although if you're a zookeeper, what could you do about a monkey that keeps wanking anyway? I'm sure it's much harder to explain to an 8-year-old what your monkeys are doing without any hands. See, I have made some jokes about the lockdown, but I'm not going to make any jokes about COVID itself because I'm old enough to remember jokes about the planes in 9/11 and none of them landed. And I had to come off Tinder at the start of lockdown, which was actually probably just as well because I was overusing Tinder. But I was using photos of myself on stage, and anytime I spoke to a girl, she said, "You're just looking for material, aren't you?" I was like, "Yeah, have you got any?" And then all these mental dates. I came to realise I was actually overusing Tinder because of my last relationship being so bad. In fact, my last relationship is so toxic, you could have used its energy to get a fucking DeLorean back to 1985. It was okay at first. It actually turned out she was into BDSM, which is something I wasn't too familiar with. And I've got a personal philosophy with BDSM, which is it's okay to role play and order things off the internet. But if you find yourself in a city centre dungeon, obliged to address some off-duty security guard as "sir," you've probably took it too far. But I found out she was into BDSM when she appeared at my doorstep in this French maid's outfit, and she asked me to tie her to a black swivel chair I've got in the middle of my living room. You know, so I complied with her wishes and tied her to this black swivel chair. And she said, "You can do anything you want to me." And I was like, "I'm kind of getting that from the fact you're tied to a black swivel chair in the middle of my living room." I didn't think we were rehearsing for a kinky mastermind. Although by that point, if she'd asked me to stop, I genuinely don't know if I'd just said I've started, so finish. And it turned out she was into dogging as well, and I get really excited about that until I realised that neither of us had a car. But she was into other things as well. She liked art, crafts, and dance, and all these types of fiction and dress up I'd never heard of, like steampunk. Now, I don't know if you know what steampunk is, but it's basically Victorian era cyber fiction, which is where I think she picked up such effective gaslighting skills. But, you know, like I say, I mean, it was a toxic relationship, and I played my part in how messed up it got us by the end as well. Like the last night we were in bed together, she told me that I was selfish. She said I was ignorant. And, you know, she said something else, but I can't remember what it was because I was having a wank at the time. But we split up a long time ago, and then I overused Tinder, and I had to come off Tinder because of lockdown. But now lockdown's kind of easing in Britain, so I actually managed to land a little Tinder date today.
Ooh.
I wore my suit and all that. Yeah, it was actually going pretty well. We went to the park and had a coffee, and I liked her, and she seemed to like me. And at one point, I leaned over to take her hand, and she just looked at my hand and stood up and started walking away. And I was like, wait, where are you going? Because I thought I'd breached social distancing. And she turned around and she said, "Why the fuck have you got BDSM, dogging, toxic relationship, gaslighting, and wanking fucking monkeys sitting in your hand?" And I think I was maybe just wearing my heart on my sleeve a bit too literally. But cheers, thanks very much, guys. That's me.
Brilliant. Great stuff. Thank you. Oh, let's hear it for the absolutely brilliant Jimmy Longmuir. Yeah. He keeps those gags coming. Absolutely brilliant. Oh my goodness me! And Jimmy's on the circuit regularly, and if you can catch his podcast as well, it's brilliant. You can write in the chat, Jimmy, all about your podcast. And myself and Kyle were very pleased to do an interview with you a couple of weeks ago. So we've reached the part in the show, ladies and gentlemen, where you won't be able to sleep tonight if you don't know who won the March Joke of the Week Month Award. Kyle, are you ready to show us?
Yep.
I do live in Germany. I don't know if you know this, but we are still in very hard quarantine here. Everything's closed except for grocery stores. We're wearing medical masks everywhere. What I'm saying is that I haven't been outside in so long that the last time I saw a traffic light, I tried to click on it to prove that I wasn't a robot.
Brilliant. Let's hear it for Erin Crouch, who will go on our wall of honor. joining the absolutely brilliant David Green, who won in February, and who's going to win in April. We'll find out next month, and the voting hasn't been rigged at all. Now, actually, talking about votings being rigged, the British Scaffolding Association elected their new president. That vote was rigged. So no surprise there. Anyway, I just have to tell you, a friend of mine said to me the other day, why did the set of Star Trek, why did the cast of Star Trek leave the set? I said, because William Shatner. So it's a perfectly reasonable assumption. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to move on, because I want to finish so we can watch the football later. And our next act is, now this is a guy who I absolutely love. One thing is, on the circuit, the punsters are the one-liner people. We are in it together, in the trenches together, and we really support each other. But I have to say, this guy is absolutely brilliant, and he's a real old-time punster, and he rattles them out, and you're going to love him. So, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the brilliant Tim Sargent.
Thank you. Thank you.
Whoa.
Thank you very much. Just before I start, I just wanted to take a moment to remember, if we can, the guy who invented the musical cassette. He died, unfortunately, recently, but yeah, but he did see 90. Prior to lockdown, I went to a seminar about fast food. It's not very good for you, apparently. That was the largest takeaway. My friend Kate, during this period, she wanted to find true love. So she joined a carbon dating site, met a diamond geezer. and his brother is like a carbon copy. So recently bought myself an occasional table. It's a table, occasionally. No idea what it is the rest of the time. In that respect, it's a little bit like my periodic table, but at least that retains its elements. That was my 2 times tables. Yesterday, I put on BBC News. It said, do you want to watch it live or from the beginning? I chose to watch it from the beginning. Took me back to 1936. or 25 to 8, depending on your clock. So a little bit about myself. Got tiny hands, tiny little hands. In fact, that's 2 little bits about myself. In fact, it could be 3 little bits about myself, because I have no idea of scale. But talking of which, golden showers. Now, golden showers. Now, is that audience precipitation, or are they just simply taking the piss? So, some things which I've learned recently. Dr. Jekyll, he hated open spaces. It left him nowhere to hide. An octopus has both arms and legs, but they look identical. Victorian roads, just rubbish, just cobbled together. And you can never buy a singular wolf. They always come in packs. And if you want to buy meat, but you're on a budget, why not don a kebab? Talking of fashion, obviously, I recently bought some new shoes. They fit like a glove. Not ideal. Thankfully, I got some gloves which fit like shoes, which means I spend a lot of time standing on my tiny little hands. I've actually got diarrhea. It has a tendency to cascade. Now, before I forget, I was on the bus the other day, right? I was on the bus, and sitting right here, was my doppelganger. Yeah, I know, I was beside myself. Be honest with you, didn't like him very much, but I wasn't going to beat myself up about it. Self-harm. Now, usually here, I do a joke about a clanger, but I've dropped that. Last week, I had a series of dreams. In my first dream, I dreamt I'd invented a new kind of light bulb. In this dream, somebody stole my idea. I was incandescent. Turns out it was just a filament of my imagination. but it seemed like a bright idea. In my next dream, I dreamt as a jigsaw. At first, I was puzzled. Then I went to pieces, but eventually I could see that bigger picture. In the dream after that, I thought I'd invented a new colour. That turned out to be a figment of my imagination. And then finally, I dreamt I was a maize-based bacon-flavoured snack. Yep, I was frazzled. Thursday, it turns out that the ghost that haunts my flat used to be a plumber. I felt a cold tap on my shoulder. And we're like, remember, I know you can't force it. It's one for the Americans. But also turns out you can't make the cistern. Then on Friday, my girlfriend took the contents of our spice rack, made me a lovely foot balm. I've been walking gingerly ever since. Guess I should have seen that cumin, but it left me with plenty of time on my hands. Saturday, I woke up and I found this tiny bit of chocolate, my belly button. That came as a kind of surprise. Turned out it was just lint. Sunday, woke up and I went for lunch with some friends of mine. They went walked the first courses. There was a soup, there was a salad in front of me. You put steak and chips. So I looked at that and I thought, that's a non-starter. When I was growing up, my old dad, he used to try and take care of us. And one year he booked us a holiday, which he thought was ABTA protected. Turns out it was ABTA protected. My father thought, well, this could be our Waterloo. Take a chance. His friend Trevor once bet him £100 so he couldn't get a boat across the River Cam in Cambridge. My dad thought, I'll take a punt on that. With the money that he won, my father bought himself this oil painting kit. And his first attempt at a picture was a collage of classical musical composers. He gave up on it in the end, just couldn't get a handle on it. Put it down his bad back. He might have been a little bit Brahms and Liszt as well. Came home the one time and I found him standing on that grassy bit on the side of the road. His head was in his hands and the bonnet of the Vauxhall V was up. And I looked at him and I thought, no, that's the man on the verge of a breakdown. He was the only man I knew that had a volume control on his shading mirror. He said it was for quiet reflection. He was also the only man I knew that had a picture of a deer's arse, a great big deer's arse on his wall at home. It wasn't a good idea, with hindsight. Right, now, a lot of people have told me that my jokes are half-arsed, which is a cheek. But I think I've been cheating on enough now, so with that, I wish you good night. All right, you take care.
Oh, that's brilliant. Round of applause for Tim Sargent, who's a real old-time punster. Actually, you were talking about buses. I'll tell you what really pisses me off in London. French musicians get to travel free on London transport. They get a Debussy pass. Okay, I'll get my coat. Any more ironing gags, anyone?
I'm flat out.
Ah, fantastic. Corky, you didn't finish your set because of the bombing. Would you like to have another couple of minutes?
Hey.
Yeah, we can do a couple more minutes.
Or you know, whatever you want, because you're funny, you know, and what can I say?
Okay, I just want to do a couple more drug jokes. I had my drug jokes. The people are telling me not to smoke weed. They're like, weed makes you paranoid, and I'm like, you know what makes me paranoid is people that don't smoke weed. What the fuck are you doing here? Get out of my house. They're like, Corky, weed is a gateway drug. I was like, cool, buzz me in. They're like, weed's not a gateway drug. You know what a gateway drug is? Is meth. Do you ever see those guys? They're always at the gateway and they're like, yeah, who goes there? Get away from the gateway, man. It's a fucking bad place to be. God damn it. And that's all I got was those three. That's my last three. Ta-da!
Great stuff. Thanks, Corky. Great set. set of match. Thank you so much. Absolutely brilliant. So, ladies and gentlemen, I think we need to move on with our next act. Now, our next act is not seen him perform before, but we know very well his partner, who is the absolutely brilliant Rachel Rothenberg, who has been on our first two Punchline Online gigs, headlining last month. Absolutely brilliant. And Adam Conrad, who is her partner, is performing tonight, another one-line star by all accounts. So let's hear what is in the family, and welcome to the stage, Adam Conrad.
Hey. All right. Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here. I wanted to say, Jimmy mentioned steampunk. I do know what that is. I love steampunk growing up. But as I get older, I'm more now into steam true crime podcasts instead of punk. I'm an anti-authoritarian vegetarian. So, seeing a police car get towed is the only time I get to enjoy pulled pork. I actually got pulled over by the police on the way here. She asked me, "Sir, do you know why I pulled you over?" And I said, "Officer, I have no idea." She said, "For driving while being intoxicating." Whew. But she gave me a ticket anyway to the policeman's ball. So, of course, I had to go. But when I told my wife, she got so angry, she started throwing all of her favorite aromatic candles right at my head. And I got to be honest, she really knocked some sense into me. I needed a suit last minute, but the only store that was open was the Army Navy store. So the suit I found was made entirely of defective grenades. And I tried it on, and what do you know? It was a nice set of duds. Recently I got hit by a car in a funeral procession. It was a few months ago, but it still hurts. Hey. Anyway, my wife and I have been together for a while now, but I can still surprise her. Like, I got a new tattoo recently, and it's an intense picture on the back of my upper thigh. And I showed it to her, and she said, "Don't you think that's a little over the top?" And I said, "No, you're looking in the wrong place. It's a little under the bottom." When I first met my wife, I found out she had daddy issues, which is perfect for me because I love Daddy Magazine. Those issues anywhere. We got married recently during the pandemic, but the quarantine has been hard. It can be very, very boring at times, and sometimes my wife, she thinks it's her fault, and she said to me, "Adam, it's on me that we're so bored right now." And I said, "No, honey, it's on we now." I got so bored the other day, I started reading up on religion, and specifically Jesus and Christianity. And I actually found out the real reason that Joseph and Mary were turned away at the inn. It was a not-for-profit business. As an atheist, I don't have any issues with religious people. I think we're equals. Like, even that last joke, I wasn't punching down, I was punching across. I think safe spaces can be some of the most dangerous spaces. I went to one the other day, and when I walked in, a man in the shadows stepped out and whispered, "Watch out, the safes are only held up by rusty chains." Safe space. I love puns and I love word jokes, but I also, I like story-based jokes too. I like jokes with depth. I like jokes about family, subtle jokes. I'm actually working on a longer joke right now about how my grandmother had 4 more baby girls after I was born. It's a joke with a lot of nuance. I hate condors. Just like have fucking real doors. I created a new bicycle that I'm going to sell soon. It's powered. The cool thing about it is it's powered solely by your unconscious desire for your mother, and I call it the Edipedal. I was on a bus recently too. I was talking to a Chinese woman about comedy, and she said in China, comedy is all about timing. And I said, well, yeah, that's the same in America too. And she said, you know of the famous Chinese comedian Tai Ming? I didn't know he did any jokes in English. I live in a town on a lake, Salt Lake, and all my neighbors have docks that are trying to get me to build a dock too. But I'm not going to do it because I won't give in to the peer pressure. I used to study really hard as a kid, but I would study so hard I wouldn't get up to go to the bathroom and I'd pee my pants. I was a bit of a whiz kid. But yeah, I was a real dork, you know. Like for me, playing hacky sack at the Renaissance Fair is my kind of fantasy football. I don't know if you have fantasy football in the UK. We have it here. Before the pandemic, I took a trip to Southern California, and I was there and I was at the beach, and I had to poo. And I went to every public bathroom I went to. There was no toilet paper. Went to the next one. There was no toilet paper. The next one, no toilet paper. And finally, I just ended up screaming, "Where in the world is Charmin, San Diego?" I don't know if you have Carmen San Diego there either. Anyway, I take online surveys sometimes, and I lie about myself to get more surveys. I said I was 65 and incontinent on a recent one, so they asked me to write a love letter to the brand Depends adult undergarments. So I wrote the letter, and it said, "Dear Depends, how do I love you? Let me count the ways. Number 1, number 2." I'm attracted to trucks. It's weird, I know, but I get really hard when I see a truck with a trailer. But if it has no trailer, it's just a semi. You know, when a water source dries up, you might say it peters out. Same thing happens to women when my peter's out. Ask my wife. I met a porn star once, actually, who was famous for both her bukkake scenes and her philanthropy. She's very compassionate. That's gross. I have a friend named Peggy. She's a bit overweight, but she's very sex positive. She's very open about how she likes to, you know, finger her boyfriend's buttholes. She likes to peg. Peggy likes to peg. And she started dating this guy, Joel. And I didn't like Joel. He's very boring, not a cool guy. And it turned out he had such a tight butthole, she couldn't fit her plump little finger in there. And it's like they always say, you can't fit a round peg in a square Joel. That's actually it for me, guys. Thank you. That was fun.
Great stuff, Adam.
Thank you.
I'd really like to come and have breakfast with you guys because it must be such good fun. You're serial jokesters, dare I suggest. I have to tell you, the other week I was arrested again for stealing car parts, and they accused me of being a serial offender. Yeah. I've actually got a joke about getting the vaccine in India. It's a Punjab. Yeah. And thefts of cream cheese, would you believe, is becoming widespread. But that's how it goes. So, folks, are we now ready for the penultimate act of the evening? And we are very proud to welcome a really accomplished comic. And what's great about this particular performer is another one who has approached us, and we're very honored to welcome the brilliant Priya Guyadeen.
Hey. Hi, everyone. Well, hey. Thanks to the bomber, you guys all know my Pornhub name now. So, don't be afraid to look me up. Well, first of all, I'm Canadian, which means I swear like a sailor, but I'm nicer than a fucking saint. I'm also 51, independently owned and operated, and the mother to a 6-year-old boy. Yeah. I traded my halo for a one-night stand with a bad boy who had a French accent and a massive throbbing vocabulary. So now I'm a cougar with trust issues and an overactive libido. My son's in kindergarten and he's been doing school via Zoom. And I got to tell you, it's not going really well. Yeah. I spend about 50% of my day wondering, is it too late for a cup of coffee? And the other 50% thinking, is it too early for a shot of tequila? I know they say it takes a village to raise them, but it is definitely going to take a distillery for me to get through the rest of this school year. Just when I was ready to start dating again, along comes a global pandemic preventing all human interaction. I started last year with Just Me January and ended it on Don't Date December. Last month, I thought I'd mix things up with maybe I'll try Women March. But I'm back to all alone again, April. I'm pretty sure if I stay on the market any longer, they'll be moving me to the clearance aisle. My sex life has pretty much turned into a U.S. gas station, strictly self-service. And I don't know about anybody else, but I'm pretty sure Toy Story had to have been written by a horny premenopausal single mother, because who else would name their favorite toys Buzz and Woody, right? I mean, before the pandemic, it wasn't so bad. I was getting some Social Security sex, but it was just a little every month, not really enough to live off of. I don't even know if I know how to date anymore. I think probably my dating skills are so rusty, I'd probably have to ask the next guy I meet to get a tetanus shot before we go out on our first date. I used to think the problem was that I had ADHD, addicted to dickheads disorder. I'm taking something for that now. So I really don't know why guys don't want to date me. I mean, they get a comedian, a mental patient, and a porn star all in one. My coworker asked me the other day how I was holding up. And I said, well, besides being exhausted, financially unstable, and on the verge of a mental breakdown, I'm fine. How about you? He said, well, gosh, I'm sorry to hear that. Oh, sometimes life can be a bitch. I said, yeah, I know. If it was a slut, it'd be easy. I think that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you so much.
Great. Let's hear it. Fantastic. Terrific. Oh, it's absolutely superb. I'll tell you, the quality on these shows, it's brilliant. Oh, God, brilliant. That's absolutely superb. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're just going to do a quick advert. Kyle, is that right?
Yeah.
No. Yeah, okay. We're doing a quick advert. If you want to put 20 cents into a bucket, if you've enjoyed the evening, this is the time. And that's the place where you can donate if you want to. But don't worry if you can't donate. It's not important, but we would love you to come back and watch and listen to our Punchline podcast as well as watch the shows. So we are now about to introduce you to the final act of the night, our headline. And I have to tell you, this guy is one of the funniest people on the circuit, and he's extremely versatile. He does a lot of political comedy, really great observational stuff. But tonight he's going to do one-line gags. He is a real talent, one of the most talented people on the circuit. So please give a lot of love and a lot of applause to the amazing Don Biswas.
Hey, can we have a round of applause for Mark?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. I genuinely forgot this was a one-liner show. That's why I've got a pen writing down all my one-liners. That's how stupid I am. By the way, before I start, can I just say that my comedy is not offensive? I'm not an offensive person. I'm a Hindu. I don't have beef with anyone. I should explain myself first. I'm from the UK. I've got a learning difficulty called dyspraxia, which, among other things, affects my organization skills. Therefore, I have a tendency to lose things all the time. Also true about me, as a member of the Asian community, living in this country, I'm twice as likely to get stopped and searched by the police. But relax, I can turn these 2 negatives into 2 positives. Because next time I get frisked by a police officer, obviously, number 1, they'll find out I'm not a terrorist. And number 2, I'll find my keys. My one-liners are about celebrating diversity. I think we should celebrate it wherever we can, whether it's Black History Month, Dyspraxia Awareness Week, or even National ADHD Minute. As Mark said, I do political gags as well. And some people say, Don, you have to be clever to talk about politics. No, you don't. I'm not the cleverest person in the world. When I was younger, I failed 5 times to get into 5 different grammar/private schools. As a result, I lost my job as a locksmith. Real reason why I lost my job as a locksmith, couldn't find my keys. That's a callback there, by the way. Indians love callbacks, so. So I should really talk about the pandemic. I was prepared than most because I still live with my overbearing Indian mother. So I've been in lockdown for 38 fucking years. The other day, I accidentally told someone it was anti-lockdown. The mask slipped. Another big issue over the last year or so was racism. I found out my girlfriend was against Black Lives Matter. Stupidly, I still want to propose to her. I'm just worried if I get down on one knee, she'll start booing me. I found out my workplace has given us an extra day off to reflect on Black Lives Matter. So immediately I switched to All Lives Matter so I can get the whole year off. Politically speaking, I'm a conspiracy theorist, which means people have been social distancing from me way before the fucking pandemic started. I didn't want anyone to know I was a conspiracy theorist. So in a previous, a few years ago, I converted to Sikhism just so I can hide my tinfoil hat underneath my turban. Because the pandemic has absolutely obliterated the economy. It absolutely has. It's ruined the whole world. Even Indian weddings have been affected. Maximum now 500 people. I should tell you more about my life. I don't mean to brag. I don't mean to boast, but I was privately educated. I was homeschooled, but my parents charged me. We live in a world where we have 70 different gender types, which is great. 70 different gender types. Growing up in a traditional Indian household, you only recognize there's 2 things: doctor and not a fucking doctor. Guess which one I was? By the way, if you recognize yourself as one of those 70 gender types, why do you care, and vice versa? You shouldn't give a crap what other people think of you. As my dad said to me when he was younger, son, be who you want to be. That's what he said, son, be who you want to be, which is why he got done for identity theft. They say you should do something every day that scares you. So today, I watch Fox News. Last week I was caught masturbating at the airport, to which the security guard came up to me and said, "What do you think you're doing, fella?" To which I replied, "I'm making sure I don't carry liquids over 100 mils." Thanks, it takes bollocks to say that joke. It's amazing to think after a few years in comedy, I got reviewed as one to watch for the future. Unfortunately, that review came from the Criminal Records Bureau. My traditional Indian parents were absolutely livid when I told them I batted for the other team, if you know what I mean, Mark. Pakistan. It is tough times out there with the pandemic, as I try to remember my next joke. I think because you just had Trump recently, who got luckily he's no longer elected, and he had a problem with refugees, and this is something to talk about. I get the refugee crisis, I really do, because during the 1970s, my dad moved to England to flee persecution from India. Unfortunately, my mum managed to track him down. I've been doing comedy actually for 14 years now, and my first year I got signed up, and my agent told me I was going to be an overnight success, and it turns out he's an insomniac. Austerity has affected me in the UK here, cutbacks. Because of police cutbacks, as a brown guy living in London, I now have to stop and search myself. I'm a massive fan of music. I'll leave you with a few more things. Can anyone guess what my favourite artist is out of there? We have audience interaction. Can anyone guess what my favourite artist is? My favourite artist of all time is Ronan Keating. And my favourite song of Ronan Keating is "You Say Your Best When You Say Nothing at All." As the original title was called, "Shut the Fuck Up." In the UK, we have a 80s duo here called Dollar, and one of the members of Dollar used to be 50 Cent. I'm anti-austerity as well. As I said, austerity doesn't work. Did you know the latest bailout deal imposed on the UK by Greece means more austerity for the Greek people, even though in the past it's reduced their economy by 25%? But wasn't it Einstein who said the definition of insanity is doing the same thing again and again and expecting different results? Now, no one's laughing. But wasn't it Einstein who said the definition of insanity is the same thing again and again? I just want to read my notes and see what my next joke is. Sorry, I'm really unprepared. Sorry. Wasn't the definition of insanity doing the same thing again and again and expecting different results? I found out my friend asked me the other day, "Do you want a drink on my rooftop bar?" And I said, "Is it on the house?" I'll leave with this. I suffer from depression. Did you know Britain is the 6th richest economy in the world? And yet we don't invest enough in talking therapies. Currently, there's a huge waiting list for free counselling on our National Health Service. On a side note, I'm not even a comedian. I'm not. I'm just a depressed person who's realised it's quicker to talk to someone by becoming a stand-up rather than waiting for free counsel in the National Health Service. And finally, with this one, sorry, I recently signed up for a mobile phone network specifically for Hindus. I got unlimited everything, so I could use it in my next lifetime. Thank you. Cheers.
Brilliant. Great stuff. Let's hear it again for the wonderful Tom Biswa. Great. And thanks to everyone tonight. So let's have a round of applause for everyone. Corky Gardner, Gil Rosenberg, Jimmy Longmuir, Tim Sargent, Adam Conrad, Priya Guiardine, and finally Don Biswas, our headliner. Now, Gil has written in the chat, can we, she wanted permission to tape. Well, there's no need, Gil, because everyone who performs on Punchline Online will get a free, their set sent for free, the video. And that's a thank you for you to come, for coming along and performing for us. I think tonight's been an absolutely outstanding night. Great night of comedy, great talent covering all the different types of one-line pun and wordplay jokes. Superb. So I just want to say a big thank you to Kyle Davis again for being an amazing producer, and to the wonderful acts we've seen tonight. And we hope all of you will either come back and watch again, and we hope all of you will come back and perform again. So it's just left me to say thanks so much, and just I'll leave you with this message. They say you are what you eat, but I'm no pussy. Ladies and gentlemen, good night.